Ladies and gentlemen, we meet again towards Parashat Ki Teitzei, coming up very soon, which has 74 mitzvot, a long, long list of mitzvot. And in many people's eyes, it seems that it's a random list of mitzvot. Comes along Rashi and says that it's not a random list. He shows the sequence of events that can happen and will happen if we do certain deeds or if we refrain from certain deeds. For instance, the Rashi on the pasuk of building a new house. Ki tivneh bayit chadash, when you build a new house, v'asita ma'akele gagecha, you have to make a fence around the roof, of course, a flat roof. You have to make a fence around the roof. V'lo tasim damim bebeitecha, you mustn't bring blood into your house. That means you mustn't cause bloodshed by not putting a fence to your roof. Ki yipol hanofel mimeno, because somebody can fall off your rooftop and die. So this is an interesting mitzvah. And we have a Rashi, in fact, two Rashis here, that I think don't only explain this specific mitzvah, but give us a whole outlook on life and a whole outlook on how to understand mitzvot and how we should see ourselves in the world of mitzvot. I think of this Rashi almost every day, and this is really giving me a lot of strength. Let me share this with you. So Rashi says here, Ki tivneh bayit chadash, when you build a new house, im kiyamta mitzvat shiluach haken, if you did the previous mitzvah, which is to the previous pasuk talks about shooing away the mother bird who's looking after the eggs in the nest. You can't take the eggs whilst the mother is watching. You have to be sensitive to the feelings of the mother bird. She shouldn't see that you're taking away the eggs that she laid. And if you are sensitive to the nest of the bird, what will happen? Sofcha livnot bayit chadash v'tkayem mitzvat makeh. Hakadosh Baruch Hu will do the same. Like we have mercy on the nest of the birds, Hakadosh Baruch Hu will have mercy on our nest and help us build a new home. And he continues, shemitzvah goreret mitzvah, that one mitzvah brings about another mitzvah. V'tagia lekerem v'sadeh, and then the next pasuk talks about that you mustn't sow in your vineyard two types of vegetation together. And afterwards it talks about you mustn't plow your land with two different types of animals on the same yoke. And then talks about sharpness, you mustn't have two types of flax linen together with wool, and all these fit together, because if we take care of the nest of the bird, HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes care of our nest. We make a fence on our roof, and therefore he takes care and gives us a vineyard. And if we take care of the vineyard, he'll give us animals that we should care. They shouldn't plow together. If we take care of the animals, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu will make sure we have new clothing, etc., etc. One mitzvah brings about the other mitzvah. Mitzvah goreret mitzvah. One mitzvah brings about the second mitzvah, which is an incredible phenomenon. An incredible phenomenon. But especially when you put this together with the next Rashi that talks about Ki yipol hanofel mimeno. Now, let me explain to you what is the difficulty of Rashi. Rashi, as you know, is a list of answers to questions that are not asked. So we have to ask ourselves, what is the question of Rashi? Ma kasher Rashi. What question is Rashi trying to answer? So the question is, it should say Ki yipol nofel mimeno, when somebody falls off your roof. What's Ki yipol hanofel mimeno? Hey hayediah, the person will fall off your roof. Which person? Which person are we talking about? Says Rashi, Ra'ui zelipol, there is somebody in the world who unfortunately has a decree that he is going to fall off a roof. Anyway, if somebody has a decree that he has to fall off a roof, you should take care that it doesn't fall off your roof. And therefore, you have to make a fence on your roof. Why? And then he says another idea which completes the previous idea that we said. שמגלגלים זכות על ידי זכאי וחובה על ידי חייב. that if you already put a fence and you do that mitzvah, Kadosh Baruch will really take care of you and make sure that people won't fall off your roof. But if you don't make a fence and you've deserted that mitzvah, Kadosh Baruch will already make sure that the guy who has to fall off the roof will fall off your roof. So what does this really mean in a deeper sense? Let me show you on a chart that I made. What this really means is the following. When a person is standing on the world, on top of the world is round, he can make steps in the positive direction, which are mitzvot, or he can do the opposite to the negative direction. Now, when a person makes 2 steps in the direction of mitzvot, what happens with his span of view? His horizons broaden in the positive direction, and they shorten in the negative direction because he made 2 steps in that direction. And therefore, he sees opportunities for mitzvot that he didn't see before. That's why one mitzvah is bringing upon a second mitzvah. However, if he makes, unfortunately, steps in the wrong direction, in the negative direction, so he opens new negative horizons. So he have opportunities for certain sins that he didn't have opportunity before. So actually, mitzvah goreret mitzvah, one mitzvah gives an opportunity for further mitzvah. That means part of the reward of a mitzvah is that it opens opportunities to do mitzvot. Part of the punishment for doing an aveirah, for doing something not correct, is that it opens opportunities for further things which are forbidden. And that's how it works. And therefore, the bottom line is the following, ladies and gentlemen. The bottom line of the outlook from these 2 Rashis that we learned together is the following. This is the way I understand it, and it gives me strength every day. When I do something good, I'm happy twice. Why am I happy twice? First of all, I'm happy that something good happened. And second of all, I'm happy that it happened through me. And when something negative happens, I'm sorry that something negative happened, but I'm sorry twice because it happened through me. And that is Megalgalim Zchut Al Yedei Zakai. That's how HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives rewards of mitzvot to people who do mitzvot, and he gives punishments of avirot to people who do further avirot. And that is an outlook onto the world. How do we understand the world of mitzvot? And therefore, when we look back at this list, if we are sensitive to animals, to birds, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will be sensitive to us and to our house. And then we'll be sensitive to animals again, not put them under the same yoke. And then he'll be sensitive to us and give us a field. And then we'll be sensitive even to the innate, the imminent, which is that we shouldn't put wool and linen together. If we're sensitive to his world, he will be sensitive to our world. And if we do the mitzvot, the natural reward will be the opportunity for further mitzvot, which will definitely bring us in the right direction. Shabbat Shalom.